Hello, so hopefully you guys remember that fractions and decimals both mean the same thing, and we can rewrite a fraction as a decimal and a decimal as a fraction. So one way we could go about this is if we have a fraction is use long division. Kind of takes a while, but it's not too bad. So, we say how many times 16 go into 5, we have to add a 0, goes in 3 times. Got 48, then we subtract 2, and we just keep repeating that process, bring down our 0. How many times 16 go into 21? So I'm just going to shut up and let that roll through. So we could also use the calculator, right? Do 5 divided by 16 in our calculator and press enter, way quicker. But we should be able to do this. So hopefully remember long division. And we're finally done. 0.3125. Alright, so for the next one we've got a mixed number. So we want to make that into an improper fraction by taking 2 times 20 and getting 40, and then 40 plus 7. So we'd have 47 over 20. And then we could do long division if we wanted to. We could just type in our calculator. Nothing wrong with that. But I would like you to just practice the long division and make sure you kind of remember how to do it. And the calculator, that gives us 2.35. Same thing with C. We can use calculator or do long division. So I already did an example of long division, and that's middle school. So 0.18 repeating. So remember, bar across the top shows that pattern repeats. Alright, so we can set these up. We know that 5's in the thousandth place, so we could put that as 375 over 1000. And then we can look for the greatest common factor to reduce it, which I did not do. I just kept dividing out by 5 because they both have 5 in common, so I divided by 5 and see if I reduced it all the way or not. And if I didn't, I just kept going. That seemed like an easier route than writing the prime factorization of 375 and 1000. So notice I can divide it by 5 again. At some point I do divide it by 5. There we go. And do one more time and get 3/8. So again, same thing with B. You can do it just like this. Put that, what would that be in the 10,000? It'd be 32 over 10,000, and we can reduce it. Or we could, use the calculator. And that's.
Miss Black, you need to retrieve an item down by the gym hall.
With this one, lost my train of thought from the announcements. On the calculator, we'll have TIA 84s in the classrooms. That's what I'm going to refer to. But there's a way probably to switch them back and forth on any calculator. The steps to do this on the TIA 84 is you just type in your decimal, press enter, and then you press math enter, and it'll convert what you just typed in into a fraction. And you should get I should have sped this video up when there it goes. Alright, so an important part of calculations in the real world is working with percentages. So this is something that we will be working on a lot throughout this class. So hopefully you guys all know how to do this, and it's going to be super easy. So let's take a look at that first one. This is, what is 4.5% of 8,000? Well, if we want to find 4.5% of 8,000, we have to move it over 2 decimal places, and we multiply that by 8,000, and that will give us 360. So 360 is 4.5% of 8,000. So we gotta do the same thing with B. Might be easier to convert that mixed number into a decimal. So we could do that and get 3.6. So we move it over 2 decimal places, and we end up with 0.036. And again, we multiply it by 520. That'll give us 3.6% of 520. And that gives us 18.72. Alright, so now I'm going to squeeze the rest of them on the bottom here. So the number 50 is what percent of 400? So now we're going to do the same thing here, but we're going to have to, we're solving for a different variable. So we have to do 50 times, or I'm sorry, 50 equals x over 100 times 400. So that's the percentage, x over 100. So now we could do 400 divided by 100 and get, what, 4x equals 50. And then we can divide both sides by 4. And we get 12.5, so that would be 12.5%. So we're going to write that up there by our answer. So letter D is the exact same type of problem too. So we got 17 is what percent of 93? So we'd say 17 equals x over 100 times 93. And I'm going to convert that to a decimal. 93 divided by 100 is 0.93. So I have 17 equals 0.93x. Alright, so now we just divide both sides by 0.93, and we get that x equals 18.3. That's again a percentage, so we'll write 18.3%. So E's a little different. It says the number 140 is 4% of what number? So we have to set this one up a little bit differently. So we have 140 equals 0.04, got to move it over 2 decimal places, x. So 140 is 4% of x. That's what our equation says. So we got to divide both sides by 0.04. And we end up with 3,500. Alright guys, have a great day.